post period, because that's the most important bit. We don't want to focus on that. That's the negative. Let's go for the positive side. Reconciliation, confession, forgiveness. That's been the whole approach. We've got to build trust in communities, social cohesion, peace and harmony. So it's everywhere. That is the principle. We're all Rwandans. Forget about ethnicity. They got rid of all that because the Belgians and the French had ID cards. You know, the same madness you got in Palestine, the same madness you had in South Africa, where you had pass laws, where you had to say, what's your ethnic group? So the police could stop you anytime. What's your pass? Are you entitled to walk here or go here or do this? It's all madness. So let's look at some of the details here. Human development, right? What caught my eye? Let's look at human development. Let's just put these up. This is amazing data. First for government transparency. First for women in parliament. 50% of the cabinet are women. Second fastest growing economy for most of the last 15 years or so in Africa. Second easiest place to do business in Africa. You can open a business in a day. You can do it online. I haven't tested it yet, but I'm going to do it online. They said you can do it all online. I'll do it online and I'm going to open my business because I went there and they said, just do it online. Fifth safest country to walk at night worldwide. Okay, this is some serious data here. Lowest debt ratio in the region. Right, let's look at some other things. Third in Africa for meeting incentives and conference exhibitions, up 18 places in 3 years. So in other words, they want to have be the center of excellence for conferences, for business conferences, exhibitions and events. That's how they sent themselves. When you see the picture of the convention center, it is world class. We've had a tour of it. It's got the Radisson Blu next door, phenomenal conference center. Kogom last year, the Commonwealth Heads of State meeting that was held last year, or the year before, when Boris Johnson was there, Prince Charles was there representing the UK government, they were all there, and all the heads of states, all the Commonwealth countries, was delayed for years because of the COVID. That's where it was held. So remarkable place. I met a sister today who negotiated Rwanda going in the Commonwealth. Amazing, interesting sister I met today. But that's a whole nother story about why they do it. Rwanda is tactical. So people have a whole lot of things. Oh, why are we going in the Commonwealth? Let's forget the Commonwealth. Bond that. You know, you get people that come with all these views. We don't want to have a relationship with Israel. Let's not have a relationship with America. Let's not deal with this. But the reality is, when you're a poor country, it's very easy to have principles when you sit in your armchair, but it's much more difficult when you're the president of a country that is broke, no infrastructure, 1994, the country is on its knees, and you're saying you're going to start playing principle with, you're not going to talk to this person, not going to talk, you need all the help you can get, right? And so we can go into all these issues when we have the Q&A, but I think Rwanda's taken a very pragmatic approach. There's other countries who have taken a more, I wouldn't say revolutionary approach, but a different type of path to revolution. Mm-hmm. And is it working? See, this is my big question. I don't mind what you believe in, but does it work? That's all I want to know. Does it work? And has it worked? When you've got time to make it work. And it's sad. Guinea-Bissau right now, the Turkish company turned the lights off in the whole of the capital. Why? Because the government didn't pay the light bill. Now, to me, this is an indignity of a situation. How could we get ourselves in this situation that all these years after independence, a company can turn the lights off in your capital city because you didn't have the money to pay the bill? Come on now, this is sad, right? So it's like meeting a brother who says, look, I've got a business and I've done really well for myself. This is my idea. And when you go around their house, you say, oh, come, the light ain't on. You say, oh, well, they switched the light off because I didn't pay the bill. Well, whatever you believe in, that ain't success. That's the problem, right? So education, there's another thing they did. They changed the country's colonial language from French to English. Why? Because most of the countries around them speak English and most of the world speaks English. It was a tactical move. Now, I found out that now Rwanda copies, I shouldn't say copy, they're inspired by a lot of the things that Singapore has done. If anybody's been to Singapore, you'll see how remarkable this country is from 1965, where it was a swamp, to what it is now. It makes England look like a third world backward country when you go to Singapore. I'm going back next month. Very amazing. So you'll know the excellence of somewhere like Singapore and what they've done. So Singapore had a similar decision to make. what language is going to be the official language of Singapore in 1965? And I've seen the speech by the prime minister at the time. They decided English, but they said everybody can learn in their mother tongue, and everybody should keep and respect their mother tongue. But we're going to make the institutional language of business English. And it was one of the best decisions they made in Singapore. You can talk about colonialism and yes, we all know that. But if we just get rid of English or French or whatever, our people will have real problems integrating in the rest of the world, getting access to technology and all the rest of it. So these are complicated questions where it's not an easy answer. Principles, you can't eat them. Can't eat principles. All right, it's great to have them, but you can't eat them. The network readiness in the country, ICT is really, really promoted. I'll talk about the 4G coverage. I wasn't sure if it was here. 97%, I checked it again tonight. 97% of the country has 4G network technology around the country. And I've met a sister who used to work for Heineken. When we met her again, she said, no, I don't work there anymore. I work for this other company. And this other company is responsible for putting fiber optics in the water across the African East Coast. And we were going to have high-speed fiber optics across the whole of Africa, and we'll have 5G technology everywhere, including Rwanda. Okay, they're starting in somewhere like Nigeria first because of the size of the population. So it's amazing. Everything's online there as well. You know, when you go into shops and stuff, everything's online. So let's look at some other data, right? Life expectancy. So let's compare life expectancy in so-called sub-Saharan Africa. Remember, sub-Saharan Africa has been independent for 50, 60 plus years. True?
Yeah.
Okay. So whether you agree or don't agree with the governments there, what is the situation? So Rwanda's had a genocide 29 years ago, which means their life expectancy would have collapsed, yes?
Right.
So how comes life expectancy is 68 years in Rwanda, but only 61.2 years in the rest of Africa? And there's no genocide in the other countries. There's war and there's problems, but how did they do it? And it was 31 years when they started. It's gone to 68. Let's look at another one. How did they move from school, expected school years, 6.2 to 11.2 years, average school years? That's the time you spend in school. What's the average in sub-Saharan Africa? 10. And it's still not free in all of Africa either. What about per capita spending power? So this is what I'm saying about how embarrassing it is, in my opinion. So Rwanda's only got spending power of $1,000 per person, but Africa on average is nearly $3,500 per person, but the outcomes are worse. So either the money is going in somebody's pocket or it's being badly managed or both, right? Something's wrong, isn't it? Right? So it's clear. We got the data. Right, let's give you some pictorials. That's my son getting off the plane. Literally, that's the aircraft we got on. It's a modern Boeing aircraft, digital television. You can watch all your films, and I still haven't finished Black Adam. I fell asleep again. Still ain't finished it. Keep trying to watch the film. I can't get the point of the film. I keep missing it. But seriously, you got all the digital TV, so you can watch all your films and everything. It's a nice aircraft. And I don't know how my son got upgraded to business class on the way back, and I didn't know until afterwards. But anyway, that's another story. So that's us just getting off the plane. You'll see my wife, my sons, and my father-in-law. This is the apartment we stayed in. This is the living room of where we stayed. 3-bedroom, 4 bathrooms, because it had 3 ensuite bathrooms. So we all had our own bathrooms. So my father-in-law, me and my wife, my sons, we all had a bedroom each and a bathroom. Plus there was a bathroom in the hallway, kitchen, and a living room, driveway, and we got a car as well. Now, what would you spend for a 3-bedroom, 4 bathroom apartment in the UK, you reckon? It wouldn't be 50. It wouldn't be £52 a night, would it?
Yeah, sure.
£52 a night. That's what we paid. So if we went to a hotel, it would be £100 to £150 per night per room. So we would have had to get 3 rooms, and you could see the difference in price. And we got a car, which was about £50 a day, I think it was, for the car. And we got like a RAV4, 4 or 5 year old RAV4, automatic, aircon, sunroof, 4x4, So we drove around in that all the time. So that was a nice car as well. All right. Until we broke down at the safari park when it was less than an hour to go to darkness, and we was in the middle of nowhere, and we was thinking we're going to have to spend the night in this safari park. And for some reason, the engine came back on, and I just belted it back home for 3 hours in the rain, and I wasn't stopping for nobody. And then the following morning, it didn't start, but it didn't break down. Actually, it was just the battery. Literally, the battery went, and they just changed the battery. It was fine. It could happen to anybody, but that's the apartment. That's just an example. This is Raiders. This is Kigali Heights. This is opposite the convention center, a very modern block of businesses and shopping and stuff like that. This is where they've got food and restaurants. So we went the first night. We were so tired, you can't believe it. That night, we landed that morning and flew overnight, so we was really tired. But we went there to have something to eat, and we just had a nice time there the night, and then crashed. This is the Mbumwe Grand. This is where we stayed before, where we went back to show my sons where we stayed. This is a 4-star hotel owned by Rwandans in the heart of Rwanda. On the left is the menu, by the way. See, people think Africa's backward, right? We went there, said, could we get a menu? And they said, here, there's a QR code. So the menu, you just put it on your phone. It's on the phone. It's all digital. They don't have manual menus anymore. So next time you go to your food over the weekend and they give you a menu, say, you're a bit backward here in Rwanda. We don't do it anymore.
We say that after we've got our food.
Yeah, after you got the food. Don't say it before. Now, the top picture is the view over Kigali. That is an open window. You see where my son is? There's actually no window there. That is open. That's an open air cafe on the top of the Mbumwe Grand. So it's a nice place to just go and have some drinks or food. And that's where people go. Loads of people go. There was loads of people hanging out there. So we just took some pictures before it got dark, and you can see over there. Now, the other side is where the pool is. This is an infinity pool, right? This is the infinity pool on the roof of that hotel. And that's me taking a picture just by it. There was a few people in the pool, so we didn't want to invade their space a bit. And over the other side, this is the inside. Sorry, this is in the inside of the hotel. This is the atrium on the inside. This is the inside of the hotel. This is not outside. This is inside. Beautiful place, great place for conferences and events. And in fact, a sister asked me only yesterday, where in Rwanda can I have an event? And I said, have it at this venue, because it's African owned, Rwandan owned, and it's it's first class building, and it's right in the center, right near everything. That's where we stayed when we went last time. This is the golf course, the local Kigali Golf and Country Club. Now, don't be fooled by that behind you. That's a new construction. We didn't take a picture of the actual current golf club because it's very modern, very nice, lovely place. I bought a little gift for my sister because my sister's a keen golfer, so I got a little golf towel and a few bits and pieces. But this is a country club. That's the new version. That one behind you, when we go back, that's going to be a new one with swimming pool, gymnasium, hotel facilities, going to be like market. So when we go and live in Rwanda, we're going to be a member of this place here. This was just just not far, like 5 minutes drive from where we were staying. And where we were staying wasn't the nicest place. It was a reasonably nice accommodation, but across the road, people are getting water every day. You can see them getting their things of water. So everything's not perfect. There's still a lot of poverty, a lot of issues. All right. Here's the mayor's office. So from the Mbumwe Grand rooftop, I took this picture. On the other side of the Mbumwe Grand is the mayor's building. That's the city mayor who runs the city. That's their building. So we talk about Brockdown building. We're not seeing the Brockdown building. This is Pili Pili. This is where we hung out quite a bit of the time because we like our football. So we went there to watch our football matches. We just watched the games from there. So we chilled out there quite a bit. That's a coffee shop at the bottom. Lots of coffee shops in Rwanda as well. Very nice. Lovely milkshakes and food. Lovely places. So there's plenty of that. Now I had to take a picture of this. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Because I'm in the middle of Africa. And here we have, guess who?
Patel.
Mr. Patel shop. So, and I won't tell you what I told my sons about shopping at this particular establishment, but you can guess what I told them. But I've got nothing against people having shops and that, but I just asked myself a question. If I left England and set up a shop in the middle of Delhi, in the middle of an Indian
Right.
area with no black people, would they shop at my shop? I
No.
just wonder the answer to that question.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just interesting. I just say it's interesting. Here's an alternative. This is a Rwandan owned with locally sourced beds and furniture, all made in Rwanda. I went in there to ask him, and it had made on Rwanda on the wall, but you can't see it. But that's all locally sourced. Okay, that was next door. So let's look at some other areas. Education. I'm going to whiz through some of this. Let's look at education. Education, as I said, they're doing a lot of work around it, but there's still a lot to do because the standards of education are still not as high at university level that it would be in certain Western countries. So what they're doing is they're partnershiping with Western universities to raise the standard, like Carnegie and different universities, to try and raise the standard. So one of the things I'm looking to do, and one of the conversations I had when I was there, is can I do some training, business expertise, capacity building, management training, customer services, all that stuff for the people there? And they said yes. So we're going to try and facilitate and work on that. So that's what we're looking to do. This was outstanding when I first found it. I was in Kigali Heights and somebody said, did you know there's an African Leadership University? And I said, what? Where is it? And they said upstairs. So I went to visit. When I went back last time, a few weeks ago, I said, I'm going to the new campus. Now, I couldn't quite arrange all the details. So, you know, as a brother, we do what you do. I grew up in Harlesden. So I just turned up with my family, with my sons and my father-in-law. And I just dropped a few names, and the security guards looked at each other. They did a few phone calls, looked at me, and in the end, they let me in. And I did a little, and they gave me a little tour of the place. So, and a sister took us around, two sisters took us around. They're both students, one Nigerian, one Rwanda, because this is a Pan-African university aiming at excellence for young people to study. That ALU is African Leadership University. If you look carefully, these names are all heroes and sheroes, African heroes and sheroes. You can see Nkrumah there, Steve Biko. You can see some names just about there. These are all heroes and sheroes in Africa. This is an inspirational campus. They've got quotes from Mandela, I've forgotten his name. You know what I mean. Fanon, sorry. Kwame Nkrumah. All of these quotes are inside the university to inspire these children. All the doors to the classrooms, all called African countries, by different African countries and leaders. And you see these heads? These were heads that were found in places like Mexico. I've been to Mexico, by the way, and I've been to Egypt. The pyramids that are in Egypt and the pyramids in Mexico, they're the same, they're not aesthetically exactly the same, but the same principles. So we know who really put those, what do you call them? The pyramids into Mexico. So this is just inspirational. This is just outside before we came in. They explained all of this more of what it was all about. You can see some of the heroes here: Thomas Sankara, Nkrumah, Winnie Mandela, Mansa Musa, some of the people there. This is inspirational. All over this university is just inspirational, fantastic. This is a smart recycling machine that was created by one of the students. Now, when we went to get a drink and some food, all the stalls, or they're not stalls, they're like little hubs for food. They're all run by the students. They let the students run it to make a little bit of money. And the students run reception so they can get a little bit of money there. They run everything. It's an amazing place.
In this time, we hand out time for stressing. In this time, we should all be investing. Getting knowledge should never be rejected. Every week, did you get the message? Get your tickets today, it don't take a second. Every Thursday, get 7. It's time to make this earth into heaven. So need to worry, there's a blessing. No need for second guessing, it's good spiritual injection. It's a spiritual.